Come on in here, everybody. I'm going to play a short little snippet of a song. Only about 30 seconds, so get on in here. Here we go. Let's see what I can find. Go back and... I got my tea and my teacup.
Well, my sink is shining, but I'm not minding that flying. I'm just a baby stepping in, I'm not obsessing on flying. I got my list of things to do, and I'm ready for action in my lace-up shoes. Well, I'm no martyr, I'm just working smarter. I'm flying. Well, these piles of clutter could be blessing others, so I'm flying. And while I'm flinging, you can hear me singing. I'm flying. I help my friends and family. When with routines in place, I still have time for me. I can get things done when I'm having fun, 'cause I'm flying.
Okay, we've almost got 200 people in here, and I don't even have my microphone on yet. So, here we go. I think I'm having a hot flash, folks. I think I'm having a hot flash. My hair's all messed up because I forgot to spray it so it wouldn't get in my face, but it's in my face, so we just got to deal with it. Everybody's dealing with hair issues. All the TV people their roots are showing, their mustaches are getting gray, their beards are getting gray. I just get tickled. My hair's gray, and it's just the way it's going to be because I've never dyed my hair. So, get your cup of tea. This is going to be a fun show. Yes, it is, because we have our tea, our Wise Women's Body Clutter tea, and it is good for what ails you. And right now, I'm having a hot flash, and I'm drinking hot tea, so I don't know if it's going to be good for that or not. So get on in here. But it sure does taste good. Sometimes you just need something wonderful. And I've been thinking today that, everybody's saying this virus, it's starting to decline just a little bit, and maybe over the next week we'll see things getting better. That means numbers are dropping, but it's going to get worse before it gets better, y'all. Just be prepared. It's going to get worse before it gets better, but be positive, and think about, I was prepared for this pandemic and being holed up in our house. I was prepared in 2000 in 1999, I started preparing in April. Yeah, I did. I started preparing in April for a shutdown in all of our society. And I had people laugh at me, kind of like they laughed at Noah when Noah was building the ark. It took him 50 years to build the ark. But they laughed at me, and I didn't care. I taught other people what to do. And Joanne, you can't let this virus make you crazy. You just can't do it because it's not worth it. Because we're smart women. We're very smart women. But I want to put together a control journal for us to be prepared. Now, I've done one sheets of bullet points of the preparedness things and all of that stuff. But I think I want to put together a control journal section for you to build your stores, your emergency stores. And I asked Justin, I said, Justin, I haven't run out of anything. I have frozen foods, I have dried foods, I have all this stuff. And we're pretty much prepared. Robert's still going to the grocery store, but the main thing is I have to help those that don't know how to prepare. And I read some books many years ago by a lovely woman, and her name was Beverly Nye. I think she's probably passed away by now. If she's still alive, I would love to talk to her. But she wrote some books that sort of taught me a lot about being prepared. And I used to can and freeze and make jams and jellies. So I have those skills. They're part of my talent stack, as Scott Adams would say. I think right now the main thing I need is probably more jars to can things in. Yeah, more jars. I used to put up 200 quart jars of tomato juice. And with tomato juice, you can make tomato sauce. You can do lots of things. So I may be cleaning off my basement shelves and getting rid of a lot of stuff to be prepared to make some things. But you got to grow the vegetables first. And we used to have a big garden. Granddaddy Ellie used to put in a huge garden. We'd have a couple of hundred Roma tomato plants, and they make the best. They make the best sauces and pasta, tomato juice. It's really thick and wonderful. So I want to put together this control journal. And what is it that you forgot to have on hand that you've had trouble getting? You know, is it toilet paper? Is it what is it that you've forgotten? And I haven't forgotten much. I've got my windows open because it was a little warm in here. So I've opened my two little windows in my bay window, and the breeze is blowing through, and if the redbird comes to the window, he might come in the house, and then you will see a mess. But we'll have a visitor from heaven, as y'all have been telling me. So this is what I want to put together. And I also want to talk to you about some common sense things as a mom. You know, my son is in his 40s, and he used to get sinus infections and lung infections, and we've all had the flu. But there are things we can do at home. There are things we can do at home to protect us. Yes, there are. There are things we can do. We don't have to run to the doctor. We don't have to run to the doctor for everything. So, here are some things that I do. Now, as Scott Adams says, don't take healthcare advice from a cartoonist. Don't take healthcare advice from a fly lady, but just think about me as a mom. And if you called your mom and your child was running 104-degree fever, what would she say to you? This is kind of where I'm coming from, as one mother to another, not to be afraid. Because we ran into this last week with Liz. Her kids were sick. They had influenza B. And little old Gemma didn't get through it as fast as, and it sort of came back on her because she didn't totally get out of it. But Liz was afraid because she didn't have anything to bring her fever down. Well, here's the thing. We have fever, I believe. Now, high fevers are dangerous. Be aware they are dangerous. And we have to, Justin's fever got up to 104.5 one time. And we lived 30 minutes away from the pediatrician. And it was on the weekend. So the only place I would have been able to take him, the nearest hospital, was 30 minutes in either direction from our house. So my mother-in-law said, put him in a tub of not cold water, but in lukewarm water. Not cold water, because you can send people into shock, but in lukewarm water. And that brought his fever down to an acceptable level. And I rested easy, but that high fever pretty much it killed whatever was affecting him at that time. So that's when I learned that fevers can be a blessing to help find things off. And the more I fight a fever and try to stop it, the longer I'm sick. So you do your research on letting a fever run its course unless it gets you got to stay on top of it. You got to keep checking it. But you got to kind of, and children are miserable. My granddaughter, she had influenza B. So did my daughter-in-law 2 weeks ago. And they got tested and they knew it was influenza B. They didn't get tested for coronavirus, but they did get tested. So here's another thing that I do. We're not having problems on this end with buffering. We don't have any problems on this end, so it's probably your internet service provider that's causing the problems, not us, because my screen hasn't said signal low or anything. Another thing that I do for me when I get a bronchial infection, sinus infection, is I use a saline nasal spray. And I don't think I have any here. But it's just normal saline. You can order it from Amazon. And it helps to loosen up the sinus mucus that's going on in here. And when this stuff gets blocked, it kind of runs down the back of your throat and it gets in your lungs. I want to keep that from happening, so I keep this loose so I can blow it out. Now, your nose is going to get kind of rough and sore. You might need to keep on hand some aloe vera Kleenexes, which I hate because I end up using them on my glasses. Thank goodness for purple rags. But keep the sinus stuff. Now, right now, I had to warn Liz of this just yesterday. I said, Liz, honey, you get sinus infections with seasonal allergies. You do not need to get a sinus infection right now. So start taking your antihistamine. She takes Claritin and some other things when it gets bad. Have some on hand right now. Yes, the pollen is awful. So get some stuff for fighting a sinus infection and allergies right now. If you are seeing lots of pollen and problems, do it now. You will thank me later. Ward off this. Now, whenever we eat anything, have you ever noticed that your sinuses, you get mucus things going on, and you get a little thing going on in your throat just from phlegm? This is an issue with eating when you're really sick. So I don't know if it's feed a cold and starve a fever, or starve a fever and feed a cold. I don't know. But I know if I stay away from food when I'm sick, if I just drink liquids, I'm much better off. And if I stay focused on drinking liquids, 12 ounces every 30 minutes. So you're getting 24 ounces an hour and keeping yourself hydrated. And clear liquids like soup, not the noodles, just the chicken noodle soup, just the soup. That soup has a lot of salt, which helps you to retain fluids and potassium. So, and football players used to have to take salt tablets before there was Gatorade. They would have to take salt tablets to keep from losing so much of their electrolytes. Keep a supply of Gatorade at home. So a lot of Gatorade has a lot of sugar, so I would get the Gatorade that doesn't have a lot of sugar, and because you don't want a lot of sugars. Now, I don't like neti pots, but I do like a company called Neil, Neil Med, and it's a squeeze bottle. There's also a thing on TV that just grosses me out called Navage, but it helps to do it kind of for you if you can't do it yourself, of cleansing your sinuses. But you can only do so much, and if it keeps getting worse and worse, here's my last resort. I put a pot of water on the stove. I put some Vicks Vapor Rub in the pot with the water, so that I've got Vicks eucalyptus smell coming up, so it's opening things up. And I take a towel. Now you can't do this if you got a gas stove, because you could burn your house down. But if you've got an electric stove, you can have a tea kettle that's blowing steam at you. But you put the towel kind of over the pot, and you stick your head kind of in the towel and inhale the steam. And that steam, that wonderful steam, is going to break up that mucus. And if you're drinking enough liquids, 24 ounces don't drink it all at once, 12 ounces every half hour. Not more than 12 ounces in a half hour. Because you can get something called water intoxication, which your kidneys shut down on, and you die. So sip small amounts to get the 12 ounces each hour, each 30-minute period. And take your electrolytes and keep watch on your heart rates and stuff. If you mess up with your electrolytes, you're going to need potassium and magnesium and salts to keep your heart rate straight. But that's what is in Gatorade, y'all. It's what is in Gatorade. And if you get dehydrated, here's how you tell if you're dehydrated. You take the skin on your hand and you pull it up. And if it stays up, you know you're dehydrated. The reverse happens if you're retaining fluids. You push your finger into your hand and the dent stays in. So, and here's another thing to do if you've got fluid building up in your lungs, and this is what happens with the COVID virus patients. The fluid starts building up in their lungs. Now, our pediatricians told us many years ago to make a cupped hand and to pound the back of your toddler. Well, guess what? You can get your toddlers to pound your back if you get sick. Unless you have COVID virus and you have to alienate from the kids. So you can pound your back. It's the beating of the back that breaks it loose. If you have a vibrator, a back vibrator, you can put it on your cheeks or on your back, and it's going to there is a harmonic symbol. There's a harmonic frequency that breaks that up, and you can cough this stuff out and have a productive cough, not a dry cough. The cough is dry because the mucus is too thick. This is common sense. The mucus is too thick. And when you take things like a Mucinex and other things for me, it makes me worse. You have to know yourselves. I can't take this other thing, Mucinex and stuff I want to gag when I have to cough. But when I drink my water and I stay consistent with it, and I set a timer to drink my water, maybe set a timer every 2 minutes to drink 2 ounces, and then wait 10 minutes and drink 2 more ounces. You see how you can get this water in if you'll just do that? So we can use some common sense to take care of ourselves if we get sick before we have to go to the hospital. Now, what are the signs that you need to go to the hospital? You're gasping for air. You're gasping for air. I actually have a little monitor that I can put on my finger that will read my our oxygen levels. And I want to keep them above 90. That's what I want to keep them at. Mine usually run around 98. So I'm getting a lot of good oxygenation. And we've got to practice taking deep breaths. So let's exercise our lungs. So right now, while you're listening to me, let's take a deep breath and hold it. Yeah, it doesn't sound too good on the radio, but you get my point. There is a Breathe app for your phones that you can practice taking deep breaths and holding them. And hot drinks work for breaking up stuff. And take your temperature. That's how you know. If you've just had surgery for something, we were in our concealed carry class yesterday, and our instructor had just had surgery, and I told him, I said, take your temperature often. That your temperature is a forewarning of something happening in your body. When you're in the hospital, they take your temperature twice a day. So it's not a bad idea to do that. So what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, so if you have some ideas for some things that you forgot during this quarantine that you just totally didn't have and you're kind of panicked about, I want to hear about it. So send them to flylady@flylady.net with virus in the subject line. Yep, send them that way. Another thing that I do if I'm getting a lung infection and I don't want to go to the doctor, I never want to go to the doctor, y'all. I never want to go to the doctor. One thing I do is I get in a hot shower, and I don't stand up in a hot shower because if you're sick, you can fall. So lay down in the shower, prop up in your shower in your bathtub, sit on the floor and get a hand towel and let the water put your hands kind of like this and hold the towel over your head and let the water hit the towel and breathe in not through the towel, but through the air in the towel. And I do that. And then I'll cough and I'll choke things up and I'll spit them out. And the hot shower does a great job for me. And sometimes I'll take a hot shower twice a day if I'm sick. Now, I want you all to do something for me at this time of high stress, but we're going to de-stress. We're going to de-stress. Now, most of us have thermometers in our homes. We need to find our thermometers. We've got them. We just don't know where they are. So declutter where you find them. I found 3 the other day. Found 3 of them. And I'm taking my good one to the office, which is a laser one, for them to take their temperature this week. So, breathe, deep breathing and breathing in moisture. If you have a humidifier, put it on in the room you're in all the time. Put it on in the room you're in. And moisturize the air. If people are turning on their air conditioners, guess what? You're taking all the moisture out of the air. All the moisture out of the air. The main thing right now is the warm temperature. It's 85 degrees here today. It's never 85 degrees here in March. Never. So this is a blessing from God. The warmth is going to help negate this virus from spreading. Washing our hands. We've been over this all the time. I say the Lord's Prayer when I'm washing my hands. I might as well get in some good prayer time if I'm washing my hands as much as I am. So take care of yourself. If you don't, who will? Now, we got questions. That took a while. But you needed to hear this. This virus is not the end of the world, y'all. It's the beginning of our new world. Okay, this question. We are about to help a bachelor friend of ours move and help him with cleaning up the apartment top to bottom. It's pretty messy. Do you have any tips on how we can do this in phases? He moves out in 2 weeks. Well, right now, I don't know that I'd help him. I'd let him get packed up, and really what he's wanting to do is get his deposit back. He shouldn't have been so messy. So I don't know that I would help him. He needs to learn he has to clean up after himself. But if you're going to go help him, you got to get everything out of the house before you can clean. And there doesn't need to be too many people in the house. And get the floors done. And once everything is out of the house, it's not going to be as bad as you think it is. And don't let him move trash to his new place. But I'd be tough with him. And I'd make him help. And you're going to need some purple rags for that. Because purple rags, Justin and Emily have moved out before, and I went over and helped them, and they had a dog, and the dog had a room all to herself. Katie had a room all to herself, and this room was just full of dog slobber. I mean, dog slobber. And one of the girls that worked with us at the time, Cindy, she went over with me to help because I paid her extra. And I said, Cindy, you're not even going to touch this room. This is too awful. I'm not even going to let you in this room. So I sat down on my butt with a purple rag, and I cleaned that whole room. And it was mainly low where the dog is. And there was a doggy door. And I cleaned that whole room with a bucket of hot water and soap and a purple rag. So, there you go. And whoever's there touting veganism, you need to leave right now, because I'm not a vegan and I don't appreciate you invading my show with your veganism right now. So, that's how it is. I am a carnivore and I eat a lot of meat and green leafy vegetables. Next question. What is the best way to make a new routine when your homeschooling has become part of your life and you're still getting used to it? You got to build a new routine. You got to build a new control journal page for this. Somebody block this Doris person right now. Just block her. Somebody block her. Okay. If I knew how to do it, I would. But let me see if I know how to do it, because she's making me not happy. Let me see if I can block her. Trying to block Doris. Nope, that didn't work. Liz knows how. She'll do it. Anyway, you got to make up a new routine. You need a start time for your class. Everybody needs to get up and get dressed to lace up shoes. Okay, they blocked her. Everybody needs to get up and get dressed to lace up shoes. And if she wants to have a vegan show, she can have a vegan show. But she's not going to jump in on mine and tell me everything I'm saying is wrong, because I'm a mama. And I know I've given this information out to hundreds of people that are friends and family. And I know that it works for me. It works for my sister Patty. It works for my sister Dina. And just don't take it. You study it. You practice it. You learn for yourself how your body works. That's why we're mamas. But you've got to set up a routine, a start time and a stop time. So if you start school at 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe you want to walk around the house before you start school and put a flag out and say the Pledge of Allegiance before you start. You need to have some little routine to starting your day, starting your, just wonderful beginning to your day. And maybe say the Lord's Prayer or have a little devotional to start. and then get into your lessons. Start with your math. When the kids are, they need to do their math first. Yep. And then reading can be relaxation time, but math, they got to do it with a bright brain. So have a routine for getting up and getting dressed and getting certain things done around the house before you start school. Do it at the kitchen table because you need your kitchen table empty, but you can do other things while the kids are doing their lessons. And then you can get dinner started while they're doing their homework. And you're going to be surprised at how things are going to run smoothly. And then have a stop time. Maybe at 1 o'clock you stop your day. That you've gotten 4 good hours in. That's pretty much all you need to do. And then you can look at some tours and things online in the afternoon. So you can have a wonderful time with your school and still get your house in order and not let everything fall apart. You can homeschool and you can be quarantined and still have a clean house. I promise it works. I had a friend of mine, Patricia, that came on the show the other day. She said, I know my hair is driving me nuts. She said, I really want a salad. And she says, and I have an Aldi's right across the street from me, and I'm scared. What do I do? And I got to thinking, there was a crazy woman the other day who went into a grocery store and coughed over all the produce in the store. And she got arrested. Thank the Lord she got arrested. She was a crazy woman. And it got me to thinking, do I really want a salad that bad? Do I really want a salad to take? Because you can't heat up a salad like you can heat up other things you get for takeout. You can't heat up a salad. So I started doing some research, and my sister Dina shared something this morning on how to wash vegetables. Yep, because vegetables are still growing. They're still being harvested, and they're still being shipped to grocery stores. So you get your veggies home. Now, I do want you to be protected when you go to the grocery store. So wear some rubber gloves. If you don't have rubber gloves, look in your closet and find some gloves to wear. It could be gloves that you wore to a debutante dance. I don't care. Find some gloves. Maybe they're gloves that you wore gardening or you've never used them for gardening. But wear some gloves. Wear some gloves. Think about young Sheldon wearing his mittens to dinner so he doesn't have to touch hands with other people. He was a germphobe. So wear gloves in the store. Then you can bring your vegetables home. Now, one of the things I heard is that some of the people who have contracted this virus, they've been doing a background on them to try to backtrack to where they went. And some of them have not had contact with someone else with the virus. And all of them had this one thing in common, and that was going to the grocery store. So take your own little pink rags soaked in hand sanitizer or alcohol and water if it's really strong, or vodka and water, and wipe down your cart. I know you think they're being sprayed down and all kinds of good stuff like that. I don't trust them. I do not trust them. Now, Robert won't let me go to the grocery store. He will not let me go to the grocery store. That's okay. I offered to go for him the other day, and he never snaps at me, and he said no. And I said, okay. But if you're going to go to the grocery store, you have got to take care of yourself. So wear gloves and wear a mask so that you don't infect anything else. The mask stops you. And if you don't have a mask, then make yourself a mask out of a bandana or a scarf. Watch this. Let me take my microphone off a second. So I've got my scarf on right now. Let me microphone right here on my water bottle for right this second. So you can, if you're going to go to the grocery store and you don't have a mask, then you can do this number. You can wrap up with a scarf. And you know how to do that because we've done it in the wintertime. Look at that. You can use a scarf. There you have it. Protecting others as well as protecting yourself. If you don't have a mask, utilize your scarves. It'll be a good thing. I'm going to put my microphone back on. So let's take a drink of tea. We still got a lot of questions to go. And wipe down your cart. You know, if they're spraying the carts outside, they're not getting under the handle. And if you've got your gloves on, you don't have to worry about things. Now, when you bring your groceries home, they're not letting you use reusable grocery bags either. They're wanting you to use, and they've waived all the fees for what you getting plastic ones. This is good. So when you get the groceries home, wipe down everything because people have touched it. So make you a sink full of hot soapy water or a purple rag soaked in sanitizer of some kind and wipe things down. And then wash your hands well. Lost all the comments. Okay, so wash everything down. If you order food out, I would not order salads. I'm going to be honest with you. I really want some greens too, but I'm going to have to get my greens from cabbage. And then when you get it home, when you get the food home, put it in another plate. Take it out of the plate that they put it in. Put it in your own plate and then nuke it in the microwave to get it good and hot. It might be too hot to eat, but nuke it. And that's going to kill any germs. And I've heard this from other people. I listen to other people all the time. Making sure my microphone is in the right place, and it's not. Okay. That still didn't work. I'm going to have to put it up here. There we go. And I'm going to have to take my scarf off. I'm dying here. It is hot and... whew, that's better. That's better. Okay. So, you might go to a farmer's market and get salad, but I wouldn't get salad stuff from a restaurant or a grocery store. That's just me. You can do it, but you better wash the greens. Yeah, there were some cart lickers too. That's just crazy. I have laminate floor in my kitchen, and no matter what I use to clean, even plain water, it's dull and filmy. Do you have any suggestions? You're not getting all the soap up. You need to just use one of our mops, and it works for getting that film up. If that doesn't work, then you might try putting a purple rag or a silver rag on your mop and using that to polish your floor a little bit. There is something called Rejuvenate. I have not used it on my wood floors, but I have used it on that, my little wrought iron thing in the window. I used it on that and it blows out because it's and it makes things shine. I don't know how long it lasts. I've used it on my chairs in the back porch, but it's a liquid. You wash your vegetables with a cup of vinegar in a sink full of water, and then rinse them. And this is getting stuff from Amazon too. What I do is I open the box with rubber gloves on, and then I put the box in the fireplace and I burn it, and then I wipe down the item that's inside the box. My supermarket is limiting water to 2 gallons per person. I drink it at least 8 a week. Why are you buying water? I don't know why anybody's buying water. Water's not been turned off at my house. I got country water, but it's not been turned off in our city. We still have water. Can you tell me 1 or 2 good filter pitchers brands you think might be nice? At Ben's house, he has city water, and I've never been around city water. So I use a zero pitcher, but there's lots of them, and look at their ratings on Amazon. Zero water pitcher, it has a little tester, and I use it there when I'm there. I haven't been there in a month, and Ben's still at his dad's. He's doing well. He went to church this morning with just the pastor and him, I think. My refrigerator has a filter on it, and it's a brand new filter, so I get filtered water out of my refrigerator. And it didn't print on the back, y'all. I'm so happy. Any ideas for sanitizing a person? When he comes home from work, he showers, changes clothes, disinfects his boots, key, and phone. Anything else he should do? It's according to what his job is. We have one dad I noticed who pitched a tent in the garage because he's a nurse in the IC unit at a big hospital, and he didn't want to infect his family. So he is sleeping in the garage. And I commend him for that, because this virus, it's infecting everybody. What else can he do? I don't know of anything else he can do. He needs to disinfect his car, the car that he's driving. He needs to disinfect that. He needs to disinfect his phone. But he needs to separate himself from the family if he has a job that is dangerous. An EMT, working in a hospital situation, he needs to separate himself. I have a ton of plants that are unwanted clutter. Where should I donate them? I would put them out by the curb and put a free sign on them. You may need to put them under a little tent or under a shade umbrella, and somebody will get them. I promise you. One of my favorite plants I bought at a yard sale many years ago, and it's 30 years old. It's one of my favorite ones. It's pregnant onion, and it's a weird plant. I like weird plants. How do you keep from a deeper depression during this time if you're already depressed? Let me find it. Take some vitamin D. Get out in a sunbeam. Go for a walk. If you know you're depressed, do everything you can to lighten your mood. Watch funny stuff on TV. and take care of yourself. But get out in a sunbeam. Go for an hour walk in the sun. Well, if somebody works outside of the house and they work in a hospital situation, they should never wear those shoes home, y'all. They should never wear those shoes home. And ever, ever, ever. When my children help me clean, they end up getting more in my way. Any tips to keep me sane? Let go of your perfectionism. Children can't clean like you do, but you can have fun doing it with them, or directing them, or playing, putting some fun, put them in their bathing suits and putting some shaving cream down on the floor, or make some shaving cream out of baby shampoo and let them have fun. Now, I did notice something on Facebook talking about shoes again. When people work in your house, they have these little booties they put on, like you would wear into an operating room. Guess what? If you've ever been to a hotel and there's a mask, a thing you put on your hair to get in the shower cap, make some booties with some elastic so that they can put on their shoes. But back to mopping the floor. Let the kids mop. Let the kids have fun. And then let them wipe it all up. And you'll have the cleanest floor you've ever seen. That goes back to that film on the floor. Let them have fun. And you'll get the cleanest kitchen floor you've ever had. And let go of your perfectionism. How else are they going to learn how to do it if you're always fussing about how they did the job? How many times do you use a bath towel before washing it? A week, but I always hang it up and let it dry. And if you have several people in the family, this is going to save you several loads of laundry. Now, don't everybody use the same bath towel. Everybody has their own bath towel. Put some 3M hooks on the wall, and everybody has their spot. And they hang their bath towel up, and they reuse that. Do you have any tips for keeping children busy while school is canceled? Play school with them. You've got the teachers are sending lessons home. You're homeschooling your kids. And if you keep them busy, they're not going to be bored. You're the director. You're the teacher right now. How do you clean your oven top? Mine is black and always seems dirty. I'm going to tell you, I have a black oven glass top stove, and I bought me some single edge razor blades, and I love those things. If I do a lot of cooking and it gets a lot of splatters, I just take that single edge razor blade and go around and gets it all up, just like taking paint off a window, and then I take a purple rag or a silver rag and wipe it down and polish it, and it's done. It's simple and easy, and it doesn't scratch. I saw a recent video of Swish and Swipe. The toilet shown was already pretty much cleaned. Why do you have to do it if it already looks decent? It's because we do Swish and Swipe every day. If you do it every day, it takes 30 seconds and it never looks dirty. But you know it's clean if you have to hug that toilet. You got that? Clean your toilet every day. Swish and swipe. And you're going to be so happy. How often do you wash your comforter? I do it every time I'm in zone 4, when we're in the bedroom. I have this little comforter that I use. Robert and I don't sleep under the same covers because he is hot-natured and I'm cold-natured. And I have this little goose down comforter that's it's just a throw, and I like to stick my feet out, and then I have a little quilted thing that goes on top of that, keep the dog off of it. So I wash them both when I'm in zone 4. Okay, we got 2 more questions, y'all. How can I get my husband on board to getting dressed to lace up shoes? On his days off, he lounges around all day in his pajamas. You can't. You can't. You can tell him what you're doing, but if you start nagging him, he's not going to like Fly Lady. He's not going to like it, so don't nag. Or maybe you could plan something to go do first thing in the morning on his days off. Like he could go with you to the store or go for a walk and get him out of the house. I don't know what your husband does, but maybe he deserves to lounge around a little. But you set the example for him. You get up and get dressed to lace up shoes so that you're ready. I sent out a testimonial this morning of a lady who got caught being in her pajamas. And it wasn't in flannel pajamas either. She was in her nightie cleaning her living room when the UPS guy wanted her to get the dog, and she was embarrassed. So don't be giving your UPS driver a look-see. Get up and get dressed to lace up shoes before anybody comes to your door. But you can't make your husband do it. And nagging is just going to make things worse. Do you have any meal ideas that our children can be involved in to help? All I can think about is making pizza. They enjoy doing that. Well, anything that's got dough, they can knead dough. They can make their own little bread loaves. They can do lots of things. They can go into your closet with all your crafts and get your pumpkin carving tools. They can cut up veggies. They can use a vegetable peeler. Get them involved. Quesadillas, yeah, that's a good thing. You put stuff into tortilla shells and put it in a skillet and put another skillet on top of it and make quesadillas. So pizza's fun. It's dough. You pat out the dough and you put stuff on the dough. What other things can you pat out the dough and do? Not tortillas. They can make biscuits and they can make rolls, and they can cut up vegetables with their little kitty knives. They can have fun, and they can cook. They can learn to cook. You can get them in their little step stools, and they can help you cook. They can make mac and cheese. Yep. They can do wraps. Oh, pretzels is fun. Teach them how to scramble eggs. Teach them how to make fried eggs. Teach them how to boil eggs. Anything over a campfire. Yep, anything over a campfire. Be careful around a fire. I gave my daughter-in-law a bunch of things to do, plantings, and they're going to do homeschool stuff tomorrow with starting some seedlings. Yep, start some seedlings. So folks, keep in mind that this is going to be over with. We have to be strong. We have to protect our families from this terrible thing. And just know we're going to get through this. This warm weather is going to help us, but it also brings storms. Somebody said let their kids make crescent roll dough and roll it around hot dogs. Well, if you don't have crescent roll dough and you got some hot dogs, you can make little flat pieces of dough and roll them around the hot dogs. They might not look like crescent rolls, but you could do it. You can make little snakes and then wrap it around the hot dogs. Somebody's saying their kids like to take the shells off of eggs. That's fun too. Or here's a fun way to I saw this on Facebook the other day. You take a boiled egg in a glass jar with a lid on it and some water in it, and a little water, and shake it, and then it gets all cracked up. The egg has been boiled, and then little hands can take it all off. So you can do this, y'all. You can have fun and you can do this. We'll get through this before we know it. Before we know it. Maybe by the end of April, it'll all be done. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Maybe instead of making ornaments, you can make some dough eggs, Easter eggs. Or paint some rocks. Go collect some pretty rocks. It'll be fun. But we can hide painted rocks for Easter instead of eggs because we need to eat our eggs. So I love you all. I will see you later. I'm going to get this up on YouTube. And keep in mind, we're going to be strong. We got this. You got to take care of you so you can take care of the rest of the family. And you can do it. We're in this together. And we're flying. Yes, we are. Love you all. Bye.